Hey, what's up YouTube? Enforcer 5150 here, and what we're going to do today is play some Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We're not actually going to play it, we're just going to benchmark it. We're going to be using my 1080 Ti, and we're also going to run it on the AMD 2700X. So, hopefully we get some good information here. Just go through all this stuff here and get my rewards done. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go ahead and go into displaying graphics, and if you notice right now you have A, B and stuff like that. That's because I'm actually playing this on my TV first, so we can get the 4K results, because I want to find out the performance that we get in 4K. And we'll be doing this with the RTX series as well. Hopefully I'll get the Ti. I may only end up with the regular 2080. But I'm pretty close to there on saving up enough. Let's see here. So we want to pretty much just go with the default highest settings. Just on basically what it gives you. I know with Tomb Raider, when you do highest, there's always extra settings that you can do. So we're just going to stick with the highest settings. And let's go ahead and get this benched. Alright, so here we go. We're on just the highest settings, nothing extra. And we're just going to see exactly what we're going to get here with the 1080 Ti and what we can expect on the default highest settings. Ooh, so yeah, we're right around 40 to start. Now I want to all my subscribers out there, I just want to apologize that I have not uploaded anything this week. There's some reasons for that. I had a lot of medical reasons and stuff like that, so I won't get too much into it. It's mainly the medical reasons, and also I've been playing a ton of that Monster Hunter world, and it has me hooked, let me tell you. Damn. So the GPU is definitely sitting at 100% pretty much through everything, which I kind of expected with any newer game that's out there. My memory is jumped up to 5500, which that's about normal in most games. So yeah, it's in around in the 30s to 40s. And remember, this is 4K, so I mean it's doing a lot. Everything is pretty much maxed except for a few small things that that Tomb Raider, the game itself, is has kind of left exclusive to you. But damn, that I mean this looks great. And what we're going to do, we're going to do the 4K here, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to do lower settings, but I will do 1440p, and I'll also go ahead and run on 1080p as well, just to get an idea of exactly what you can see, because most people don't have 4K monitor or TV that they can run the game on, and it's more practical to have, say, a 1440p or a high refresh rate 1080p monitor. But like right now, we're not getting over 60 frames per second. Everything maxed out, besides those few settings, the default max settings. Man, the skin on her looks terrible. I mean, the environment itself looks all like amazing, but the skin textures of everybody besides Laura is terrible, and I don't know why dude's wearing a diaper. I mean, the guy over there has kind of like a dress thing on, so why is that guy in a diaper? And a kid maybe. Maybe just that poor. Never know. Alright, so I think that would be, no, we have one more to go through. Nope, that's it. Okay, so an average of 41 frames per second. Now, like I said before, 40 in a game like this is okay. It's playable. It's not 100% recommended, but it's definitely playable. We want to go with 60 frames per second for like first person shooters and stuff like that. Something that's third person that you're kind of exploring and, you know, it's just more visual. 40 is fine. So let's go ahead and get on to our next benchmark. I'll get this set up and we can get this video going. Alright, I just wanted to go ahead and include this small part here. This is 4K and it's running HDR. It probably, you know, it looks kind of misty probably to you. On the screen, you know, it's obviously very bright and nice. I don't have a 4K HDR recorder. Kind of hate myself for not picking that one up. It's like $300, but anyway, pretty much there's no difference between the HDR and the regular 4K, so they're both pretty much the same. I just wanted to make sure I put that out there for anybody that had that question. Alright, so here we go. We're in 1440p, and we have everything at the highest settings, the main highest settings anyway. I did run the 4K version of having SMAA4X on, or X4 on it, times 4, and it was terrible. I'm not going to upload that. It was about, I think the average was 23 frames per second, 24. That's definitely something you do not want to game on. And I thought, seeing that I have so many resolutions to go through, I don't want to make this video, you know, too long and just let you know exactly what's going on there. Now this going well over 60 frames per second with everything maxed out. The game still looks amazing. Right now, I mean, I'm on my main monitor. I'm no longer on the TV. So I'm getting that actual refresh rate, and, you know, it looks a lot better. It's the same computer, just to let you know. It's the same computer, same 1080 Ti, same Ryzen 7 2700X. The only difference is I switched over to my monitor for the higher refresh rate. I knew on 4K, it's max. The max I can do on this monitor is 1440p, so I figured I'd put all this on here, and I can't get over 60 frames per second anyway on the 4K. So this part right here seems like to be like the highest frames per second area, and when I'm looking in this area, I'm kind of looking at like the stuff in the background. What I was doing before is like the water and stuff like that that's far in the background, and the smoke. Like as you start going down like from the 4K to 2K, you can kind of notice that there's a difference there. But the difference between 2K and 4K is not really that great when you're looking at it, you know, a little bit far away. I mean, you really can't tell the difference. When you put on HDR, you can absolutely tell that there's a difference in the brightness and the vibrance of everything. One thing I don't like about this benchmark here is that the people are always different in this area, so you could possibly get different results each time that you go to here, and that I really don't approve, I guess, of. Like, you got Diaper Guy over there, and then you have the ladies wearing different clothing and stuff like that, because like before I noticed that she had, you know, really terrible skin, but you really don't see her that much on the on this version. So I mean, I don't know, maybe it won't really affect the frames per second, but it just seems kind of inconsistent. So we got a 78 frames per second on the GPU. We have 64, and yeah, that's actually really, really good. I mean, we're looking at I'd say a minor dip there in there, and that's pretty damn good. Anyway, let's go ahead. I'm going to run a test on the SMAA 4X, and I'm just gonna go right to the end so that this stays kind of a short video, because it's gonna be long with all this information I'm trying to put in. All right, I'm just gonna start talking here at the end of the last part of the benchmark, and so far, I mean, it's not too bad. Right now we have the SMAA 4X going, and I mean, it is really, I mean, it looks great. I mean, it looks amazing, but it definitely takes a huge toll on the frames per second. You know, we've been dropping down here, you know, into the 40, 49, 48, being in our low and you know, average. You know, where before our 70s were the average. I mean, this is still playable. Also, you want to remember that in 4K, I wanted to mention this, in 4K, if you're playing on a console, you only get 30 frames per second. I was watching other videos, and it seems that they did cap that down at 40 or 30 frames per second. So if you do 4K on console, your max is going to be 30 frames per second, and then, you know, on PC, it's pretty much whatever, how much money you can throw at it. Hopefully the RTX will actually get a lot more, but we have an average of 51 frames per second for 1440p with SMAA 4X. So we're going to go ahead and drop it down to 1080p and get that information as well. Alright, so here we are. We're going to go ahead and put everything in for 1080p. And I have SMAA 4X already on. We have everything pretty much all the way up. We're at the default highest settings. Like I said, I'm going to be doing the default highest settings, and then, you know, I can kind of see where we're going. But I also have SMAA enabled, so that's going to really take a toll on the frames per second that you could get with this card and CPU. But right now, we're well over 60 frames per second. In a game like this, we're not looking to max out, you know, 120 plus. When we get the RTX series in, man, I hope we actually see, you know, I'd say at least 40% more. I want to see at least 40% more. Even though the price is more than double what the 1080 Ti is right now. If we get the 2080 Ti non-Founders Edition, we'll be looking at $1,000, which then it'll just be just about double the cost. Now this monitor is actually pretty good, and the brightness is, I think, around 400 to 500 nits, and I mean, the brightness looks great on here. I remember when I first got it, I mean, I was like, holy crap. And I have an HDR TV that I watch on a lot, so. And I think my HDR TV doesn't hit the 1000, it only hits maybe 600 or 700. But yeah, we're getting well over the 60 frames per second that I've been kind of hoping for, especially in 1080p. The SMAA definitely takes a huge toll on the frames per second. And in between here, I'm not going to count those jumping down the 40 frames. But now, one thing I want to mention with the 1080p here is it definitely looks a lot better than other games that I've done benchmarks on. Because a lot of times, I mean, like right there, I can see a little bit that, you know, it's pixelated on the water in the background, like I was talking about before. That's kind of where I noticed it from the 4K to the 2K. One thing is that this actually looks really freaking good in 1080p. There's not that much of a difference. I mean, if I put it on my 4K TV, I'm gonna notice a lot more. But looking at a 27-inch 1440p monitor, it's not that bad. Stuff like I've played before and did benchmarks on when I did it with Monster Hunter World and stuff like that. I was like, okay, I'm in 1080p. This looks like crap, you know. On here in Tomb Raider, it definitely does not look like crap. I mean, it looks pretty good. Even in Call of Duty, or not Call of Duty, but Battlefield 5, that was, you know, a big difference of going from 1440p to 1080p. So let's see what our final scores are here. think this is the end, and let's see what we got. 80 frames per second. Awesome. So that is pretty damn good. I mean, when you're looking at that SMAA, it looks nice, but you really don't need it, and you really don't notice the difference that much. Anyway, this is where I'm going to end this episode. Just to let you know, this is the 4K, everything completely maxed out. It was a SMAA, everything on. Yeah, it was terrible. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to end this episode here. I'm going to do some game reviews, or I'm going to do a game review of this pretty soon. I just want to, actually get some hours in it and, know what I'm actually talking about before I actually review it. First thing I did is I decided to do these benchmarks. If you want me to try any other configurations, let me know. I'll definitely look into adding them, or at least bringing them up somewhere. And I also wanted to mention that I will try my best to make sure I get the laptop version of the 1060, and I will try to get the 1070 desktop card, some FPSs on those. If I do the ones on the 1070, it's going to mostly just be the end results. The laptop, I'll go ahead and do playthroughs. Anyway, I want to thank y'all for watching this video. Make sure you hit that like button, definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you get updates when I upload new content. Currently, it's only been once a week, but we will try to definitely increase that as the RTX series comes up. Anyway, take care and happy gaming.